Perfect, thank you very much for joining me. Yes, my name is Sean and you are watching MLS Ireland does predictions for the second last week of MLS. Oh my god, stay tuned. Perfect, thank you very much for joining me. Yes, my name is Sean, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. It is the second last week. I'm not 100% sure which week it is, week 33 or 32 or some number in among all that. I would say 33, but anyway, I could be wrong. So, week 33, it is the MLS. There's one more week after this. It's going to be interesting there. I know there's one more, a few games midweek. But then next week's the last. Then it's into the playoffs, into the crazy playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that, and hope you stay tuned after that as well. Coming next week, there's going to be a difference. You're going to notice a difference. There's a kind of a subtle hint of what kind of difference, where it may be. But anyway, I digress. So I might as well kick off with the first game. It is Toronto against Inter. Toronto now completely out of reckoning of getting into the playoffs. They kind of left it a wee bit too late to get good players in. Fecked up in not getting a good defense. So I did try. I did warn them. They didn't listen. That's what you get when you don't listen. And they're playing against an Inter Miami team who beat DC United last away from home and then lost the last three after that. So not great, but they are coming into this one with a bit of form, whereas Toronto have only won the one in the last six, and that was against Charlotte. So not a great results. Great results? Great results. I'm very dry for some reason. But anyway, Toronto against Inter. I might go for like a 2-1 win, just for the fact that Toronto are at home and they've got not really much to worry about, if that makes any sense. And I do think they're probably going to come into this game a bit more relaxed and play with a bit more less fear. I'm going to go with that. So 2-1 to Toronto. The next one is New England Revolution against Atlanta. New England, who are 21st overall in the league, only won the one in the last six, and that was against New York City FC. Drew one against Chicago and then lost the rest against Montreal, Houston, Red Bull, and LA. So not great. And they're coming up against the Atlanta team who are above them, surprisingly. Who won 3 in the last 6, beating Toronto, Orlando and DC United. Games you would suspect them to win, and they got beaten by Portland and Philadelphia away from home. So this is another away from home game where you would suspect them to do a bit better. But New England need the points and need the points desperately, and Atlanta is still not convinced in Atlanta, to be fair, so I'm going to go for like a 1-0 win to New England, just for the fact is they need these points to get into the playoffs, and I do think they have a good experienced team to bring them into the playoffs and get that. Try to get that point. They're only 4 points off, and this is, if they win this, then they're within a chance, and if they don't, then they blow it. So I think that incentive is probably going to incentive is going to bring them over the edge. 1-0. The next one is Charlotte FC against Philadelphia. Charlotte are 11th in the East, and Charlotte are 22nd in the Supporters Shield. Not great. When start of the season, they've done very well. They won their last game away from home, which is a bit surprising, and then they got beaten by Cincinnati away from home, and then got beaten by New York City the week before that. So it is going to be an interesting one, and they're coming up against the Philadelphia team who are on fire and probably haven't lost the game. Granted, they drew their last game, and that was against Atlanta 0-0. But again, good results for Philadelphia. They're coming against a Charlotte team at home, so we suspect them to get a good result in this one. But I'm going to go for like a 2-1 win to Philadelphia, just for the fact is they are at home and their away record is pretty impressive, all things considered. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that. The next game, I skipped one, so I'm going to have to go back one. Here's to Colorado and against FC Dallas. Now these two teams are a bit trickier to probably predict. Colorado, again picked up, Colorado 1-2 in the last 6, I think it's Vancouver and San Jose Earthquakes, whereas FCC Dallas have won 3, beating LAFC, beating Minnesota, and beating Philadelphia, but getting beat by San Jose Earthquakes. So again, and getting beat by Real Salt Lake. So this is going to be a trickier one. I'm going for like 1-1 draw. I just think these two teams are probably a wee bit too well matched. So it is going to be an interesting game. I don't think that game is actually going to be on TV here. I actually never really looked, but it's probably not a game that was going to be on TV. So sorry. Don't know why I apologize. The next one is Montreal against DC United. DC United, who are bottom of the league, only won the 1 in the last 6, and that was against New York City FC, which is a bit surprising, away from home. Their last away game was a 3-0 beaten by San Jose Sporting Kansas City, to be fair. That's not a great result for them. And Montreal, who are third, beat New England away from home, beat Chicago, drew with Columbus, beat Toronto away from home, got beaten by New York Red Bull at home, and then beat Chicago Fire away from home. So I'm going to go for like a 3-0 win to Montreal, just for the fact is DC United aren't good, and Montreal third for a reason, and they are good at scoring goals, and they're probably good at conceding ones as well, but like this conceded 49, so that's not great for being third, but still I think they probably give a good result to DC United. The next one is Columbus Crew against New York Red Bulls. Columbus Crew are 15th, only winning the one game out of the last 6, and that was against Inter. And that was like a 1-0 win, and now they're coming up against a New York Red Bulls team who are 6th and lost their last game against New York City FC. That was a bit of a strange game, 2-0, and then they got beaten as well by Philadelphia 2-0. But they beat New England, Montreal, and Inter during all those games. So not bad. I think Columbus Crew at home are still a bit of a weird stretch, and New York Red Bulls are not too bad away from home. They've won 9 of their away games, which is pretty impressive considering it's more than half. Whereas Columbus Crew at home have only won the 6. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to New York Red Bulls, just for the fact is they are good form at away from home, and Columbus Crew, I probably think there are a wee bit too many mistakes in their team, and they're on the line of getting into the playoffs, where I think they may just keep it relaxed and then try go for it next week. But I'm going to go for like a 2-1 win. The next one is FC Cincinnati against Chicago Fire, who Cincinnati played last night, I believe. Drew 1-1 against Seattle, and they got a player sent off. So Cincinnati haven't lost a game in the last 6. Pretty good results. Like I said, drew away to Seattle, beat Real Salt Lake, beat San Jose Earthquakes, drew in New York City away from home, beat Charlotte, and drew with Columbus Crew. And now they're coming up against a Chicago Fire team who've only won the 1 in the last 6, and that was against Inter Miami. Got beaten by Charlotte, Montreal, drew with Columbus, New England. So not great. So I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win to Cincinnati. They are a very good team. I know this is probably going to be an interesting one for them. They've already kind of clinched the playoffs, if I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I do think they're a good result in this one, and that gets them through. So yeah, I'm going for like a 2-0 win in that one. The next one is San Jose Earthquakes against Minnesota United. San Jose, bottom of the Western, not going to make the playoffs. Minnesota should possibly make the playoffs. I don't think Seattle could probably make it in. It's hard to know. So there's still a wee bit more to play for this week in this. So it's going to be fun. San Jose against Minnesota. San Jose Earthquakes are not doing too bad. Well, they are scoring goals. Since they got beaten by Cincinnati 6-0, they got beaten by Colorado 2-1, drew with Dallas, and then got beaten by LA Galaxy 3-2. So they're not doing too bad, all things considered, where they are in the league, to be fair. Whereas Minnesota have only won the 1, and that was against Houston. That was well over a month ago. So not great coming into this. They got beaten by Real Salt Lake, Dallas, Portland drew with LAFC at home, and then got beaten by Sporting Kansas City 4-1. So I think actually San Jose Earthquakes could win this one, so I'm going to go for like a 1-0 win to San Jose. They are at home. Minnesota are conceding goals left, right and centre, and I think they've known that they're in the playoffs and they've kind of stayed in first gear. So yeah, 1-0. The next one is Vancouver against Austin. Vancouver are a strange team. They won the last two against LA Galaxy and Seattle at home. Pretty impressive. Now they're coming up against an Austin team who have let things slip, let's say. Beaten LAFC, got beaten by Portland at home, beaten by Nashville away from home, beaten by Seattle away from home, drew against Real Salt Lake, and then drew against Nashville. Did I say beat Real Salt Lake? Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember what I said. So this one's going to be a good one. Actually looking forward to this one. This is going to be like a 2-2 draw. I think Vancouver at home is going to give Austin a good run for their money. I think Austin, like I said, like other teams probably know now that they've made it in, so they're just probably going to try not make many mistakes and kind of try not to get injured as much. So a 2-2. The next one is LA Galaxy against Real Salt Lake. LA Galaxy now 10th in overall standings, beating Colorado Rapids and San Jose Earthquakes, but got beaten by Vancouver the previous on the 15th. Drew was Nashville, Sporting Kansas City, and Toronto. So they're coming up against the Real Salt Lake team, who are 14th overall, only winning the one in the last 6, and that was against Minnesota United 3-0, but got beaten by LAFC, drew Dallas, got beaten by Austin and Cincinnati. So Real Salt Lake away from home. I'm going to go for like a 2-0 win to Galaxy, just for the fact that Galaxy they have a good midfielder now, and this is probably one of these games where they're probably going to be pretty good in midfield and get that result over the line. Sorry. And the next one is New York City FC against Orlando. New York City is strange outfit so far. When they've only won one game in the last 6, and that was against New York Red Bull. And when I think about it, they haven't really won many in the last ones before that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the last 10 games, they've only won 2. Not great for a team who won the cup last year. And coming up against the Colorado Rapids. Orlando. Fucking hell. Orlando team who are 13th, only losing the last two games. That was against against Philadelphia and Atlanta, beating Toronto last week, or 2 weeks ago, international break. So this is going to be a good one, but I think New York City, after their win against Red Bull, are probably going to be a wee bit more up for this game and try to get on form before the playoffs start. So I'm going to go for like a 2-1 win to New York City FC, just because they have better players than Orlando, but Orlando can surprise many people and can concede quite a lot too. So 2-1. The next one is Portland Timbers against Los Angeles Football Club. Los Angeles, who technically in MLS eyes are top, strangely enough, of the league. I don't get it either, because they've won more games, but technically by right Philadelphia are top. But anyway, I'll gloss over that. Portland Timbers, who are 6th in the Western and 11th overall, so that's not too bad. They drew their last game against Columbus, but they beat Minnesota, Atlanta, Austin and Seattle, so not too bad. And they're coming up against an LAFC team who's only won 2 out of the last 6, and that was against Houston, Real Salt Lake. 2 games you would suspect them to be winning quite convincingly. They drew against Minnesota, beaten by Dallas, beaten by Houston, and beaten by Austin. Not very good results, LAFC. So their away record isn't great at all. It's abysmal, to be fair. So yeah, I'm going to go for a Portland Timbers win, 2-1. I think Portland Timbers is probably going to come into this game knowing that LAFC aren't up to the scratch, and they're going to give LAFC a pretty good game on plastic. So yeah, 2-1. The next one is Sporting Kansas City against Seattle. Seattle, like I said, drew against Cincinnati there during the week. They're coming up against the Sporting Kansas City team. They're 23rd. Haven't lost a game in the last 6. Drew 2 against LA Galaxy and Houston. Beat Minnesota, DC United, San Jose Earthquakes and Portland all at home. And this is going to be another 3rd game on the row at home. against the Seattle team, who haven't got a great record away from home. Got beaten by Vancouver last, then got beaten by Orlando away from home, and then beaten by Portland away from home. So their away record hasn't been great, so that's why I'm going to go for like a 1-0 win to Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City, like I said, haven't lost a game in the last 6. So where was this at the start of the second season, Sporting Kansas City? So it's going to be a trickier one for Seattle. I think Sporting Kansas City are coming into this with a bit of form. 1-0. Yeah. And the last one, Nashville against Houston. Houston are 23rd for a reason, because they're not great. Got beaten by LAFC, even though they beat them previous. Beat New England, drew with Sporting Kansas City, got beaten by Seattle, beat LAFC, and like I said, and got beaten by Minnesota. So they're coming up against a very good, interesting Nashville team, who are 8th overall, having lost a game in the last 6. Granted, they drew their last 2, 1-1 against Austin and LA Galaxy, away and home, but beaten Austin, Colorado Rapids, Vancouver, and Dallas. So they're coming into this one a hell of a lot better form than Houston. So I'm going to go for like a 3-1 win to Nashville. So Nashville, 3-1 win to Nashville. Houston aren't all at it. This is probably one game where they're probably going to show up, but I think Nashville are in a good position, scoring goals. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that 3-1 win. Perfect. Those were my predictions. I hope you enjoyed. So I hope to see you on the next one. So hope to see you in a new surrounding. Bye now.